I love fires. In fact, if you left me sitting by a fire long enough, I'd probably be sticking sticks into there and poking around, playing in it like any kid would do. It reminds me how in Iran there's a holiday where they build lots of little bonfires, and the kids love to play in the bonfires, but they don't always think about the dangers. The older kids will dare each other and they'll be jumping over the fires, running from one pile to another. But sometimes the little kids join in. One of my friends remembers when he was 5 years old, playing with the older kids around the bonfire. But he didn't realize the danger when somebody spilled some kerosene on him. He kept on jumping, and then at one point he tripped and sort of fell on the fire and instantly burst into flames. He could hear everybody starting to scream, but he also remembers instantly a man standing in the midst of the fire with him. He took him by the hand and put his hand over his face and said, "Get up, come with me." They went out of the fire and he rolled him on the ground, and then other people took over and started rolling him, trying to get the fire out. They were putting their feet on him, they were patting it with their hands, but every time they would get the fire out in one place, it would burst out in another place. Finally, the fire was out and finished, and everybody was amazed. The little boy had not even a singed eyebrow. His hair wasn't singed. There were no burns on his body except one little one under his arm. They couldn't figure out what had happened, and the little boy said, "Well, it was that man that helped me out of the fire." And they said, "What man? There wasn't a man here in the fire with you." But the little boy remembered, there was a man in the fire with me. A few days later, his family, who had just recently learned about Jesus and given their hearts to him, his family went to a friend's house and secretly were watching the Jesus movie one night, when suddenly the little boy, 5 years old, jumped up and started screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, that's the man! That's the man!" "What do you mean, son?" his father said. "That's the man, Daddy. He's the one that was in the fire with me. Jesus is the one that was in the fire with me. I saw him, Daddy." Now, the family went through many difficult times for a number of years, much persecution and torture, and finally they had to escape from the country. In order to get out, they had to go separate routes. The father went one way, the mother and children went a different way, but they weren't sure if they would ever even get to see each other again. The Lord led, and they safely made it and eventually got back together again. And once they were reunited in their new country, they began looking for a place to stay. Somehow they met a small group of Adventist refugees from their country. They began to study the Bible with them, and that family is now a Seventh-day Adventist family. The father is a global mission pioneer. He works carefully to share his faith and his belief in Jesus with other refugees in that country. But he also works through a network of carefully controlled computer systems and others to get messages back to family and friends in his home country, sharing Jesus as the one who walks through the fire with you, Jesus as the one who is soon coming as Savior and Lord and King. That man is a global mission pioneer. Your global mission offerings and donations are helping to support the work that he is doing. If you'd like to know more about the work that Global Mission is doing, go to global-mission.org. You'll find many stories there of the way God is working around the world.